What's going on, Doug? Scott, how you guys doing? Let some people join in on here. Well, Cody Jarrett, I knew you'd say I'm looking good, buddy. You're always saying that. Scott, I hear you, but I appreciate the business. But man, the drought it killed us all. It was horrible here in Illinois. Good to hear, Doug. I'm glad you're doing good. Mark Coleman, your name does show up this time, bud. There's a Facebook user right there. I don't know who you are. Glad to see you back at it, buddy. Everybody wants to see old Mark Coleman. Hey, there's my old buddy Anthony. Get some of you guys on here and we'll fire this thing up and talk a little bit about what's going to go on for throughout the summer and early fall for these shows and kind of get fired up here. I know I'm ready. I'm ready to get fired up. I'm ready to start planting. Actually, I'm ready to start shooting turkeys, but then planting. Yeah, Scott, it was horrible everywhere, man. I guarantee it was bad in Missouri. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hear you, Doug. It's feeling like planting season time out there today. It's almost 60 degrees here today. It just blows me away. But look at next week, or actually starting Saturday. It's a cold one. It'll be cold, cold, cold again. At least it's not going to be as cold as it was. That frigid below zero stuff, I was tired of it. Scott, don't you love them rocks? It's a pain in the butt, isn't it? Now, I hear you, Mark. I'm going to take Stacy out on her first shed hunting on this weekend on Saturday. My big drop tine deer lost one side, and I found it the other morning, and I'm pretty sure it was him in the plot last night or night before last with both sides missing. So I'm itching to go look, but I got a feeling it's on a neighbor's property I can't get on, but we're going to give it a try and to see what we can find. I'll tell you what, Doug, right now, it's going to get colder. It's a little early to frost seed, even though the weather's been nice, but right now is almost a prime time to be doing it with these freezing at night and falling during the day. Man, it'll suck that seed right in and lay there dormant, but I'm still going to wait a little bit myself, bud. Yeah, Scott, it's amazing how them rocks grow. They grow like crazy. There's nothing worse than rocks or brick bats. I had a plot one time that they had like 6 tandem loads of brick bats put in it and then some soil over it. It used to be a cattle lot. You couldn't even run a disc over it. It was horrible. All I could really do is just run a drag over it, bust it up. Oh, Scuba Steve. A good talk with you this morning, buddy. I appreciate that. Dustin, I don't know what's going on. You're coming back as a Facebook user and you say you can't see any comments. I don't know what's going on there, bud. Mark, that new product, it's easy to call it kitchen sink, this new one right here. But as you can tell, we got everything but above it. I mean, it sounds so much better, everything but the kitchen sink. A lot of people's going to know it as kitchen sink, but man, it's everything but the kitchen sink. So I'll run some ingredients so you guys here in a little bit, tell you about it. And but it's for a feed wise and a very inexpensive feed. It's going to be a hot topic, and we got a few more plans that we're working on right now with that, because we know how well it's going to go over. So there's going to be a few more things come out with everything but the kitchen sink as well. So maybe even possibly as early as this fall. Danny Robinson, my old buddy Danny. Good deal, Scott. I'm glad about that. Well, we got some guys on here. Let's start this up. I mean, this ain't an hour-long show tonight. It's just kind of getting everybody up to speed on what's going to go on this year. Again, for the ones of you that actually come to the trade shows, you're going to see something a little different from me again this year. I'm really focusing more on informational. And I know I'm always informational, but I want to do more of the teaching type stuff. I'm actually going to be doing some of that in our booth at the trade shows as well. How to read a seed label, seed depth, a whole bunch of different things. I just shot a very good video the other day for a marketing group, actually yesterday, sitting right over there, on how to read that seed label, that anybody can do it. And you can actually do it right on your phone, sitting in a store, looking at a bag of seed. You'll know exactly how many seeds are in that bag of each species. So I'm going to be bringing that to the shows this year too. I'm going to have it on here as well throughout the year. But doing a lot more like that. I'm going to do a lot with Steve Bartella this year. We're going to shoot some stuff for his TV show. We're going to do a lot more Q&As on our website. Steve and I are actually going to do Q&As, springtime planning, fall time planning. It's going to be a good informational thing. I'm really pushing that. Our sales team pushes the sales. I want to push the informational stuff. That's what I'm here for. That's what I enjoy doing. That's what they pay me to do. So I want to really step that up. We kind of started with this last year, even though I do take care of the customer service stuff. I want to help everybody that I can help, because I know what it was like when I started 30 years ago planting plots. I had some farmers I could talk to here and there, and nobody else was planting plots. Nobody knew anything about brassicas in this area. They thought you was crazy if you planted turnips. They didn't know anything about them, including myself. So that's what I want to be there for. If it wasn't for Antler King and their pro staff guys, 28 years ago, 27 years ago, when I went to that Illinois show, I wouldn't know nothing about the trophy clover mix. That's why I want to do it. I want to give back and help out in any way I can. I know my pro staffers are out there. They're wanting to do the exact same thing. And they are. They're doing a great job doing it. I appreciate all you guys. And, but like I say, this show is kind of giving you some topics, what we're going to go over. I'm actually going to run this until the end of September. So this is going to be a bi-weekly show all the way to the end of September. Now, the first show is actually starting next week. So, and then it's going to run every other week. So, like February, let's just get started with this. February, right now we're talking about new products. So, and we're still going to talk about new products next week, more than just the kitchen sink, some other stuff we're thinking about, talking about. That'll be for next week. And then moving on from there, I'm wanting to start with the spring plot preparation. Even though it's February, it's coming along with us for us here in the Midwest. People down in the South, they'd be planting. So March, you're looking at feeding your soil. Again, working with that, the soil preparation. Springtime perennials. That's going to be the next one. That's going to be the one for the end of March. What perennials to use, why to use them, where to use them, how to use them. Something like that. That's what we're wanting to deal with. To freshen people's mind that don't know, we want to really help them out. So April, we're looking at the benefits of mineral, because that's really getting in the mineral months. You really want to get them minerals out if you're able to do it in your area for that antler growth and bone development. Looking at proper fertilization on the end of April. We got the biggest problem I noticed with a lot of people is they don't understand what fertilizer to use for each product. And I can get on this computer right here, right now, and I can Google what's the best fertilizer to use with purple top turnips, and they give me 10 different answers. So we test them. We know what works best for ours. That's what I'm going to help you out with. So Google is not always your best friend when it comes to certain things, especially when you're working with perennials. The perennials are the ones that you really got to watch what you feed them. May, we're going to get right into that shield and bedding with our barricade. You know, in the Midwest, that's prime time. Get that temperature up, that ground temp about 60 degrees. We really want to talk about that barricade product. Excuse me, making them funnels, travel corridors, blocking the roads, the whole 9 yards. The end of May, we're looking at weed and grass control. Right there, at weed and grass control, you're looking at number one, your perennial mixes. That's what you're looking for. You want to take care of them perennials. I did a seminar last Saturday in Wisconsin up by Green Bay, and packed the house. I couldn't believe it. Best seminar I ever had. I mean, it was perfect. A lot of people came out to it. Actually, standing room only. I mean, there was people standing all over the place because all the seats were taken. And anytime I talked about herbicides for perennials, the hands went up. Everybody wanted to know what I was talking about. A lot of people didn't understand what you can use and how you can use it for these perennials. And there was even things out there that you could spray on them. And the maintenance is a big part too. So that one will be the end of May. June, we're looking at maintaining your perennials right there with your weed and grass control, maintaining them, mowing them, taking care of them, the proper fertilization. It all works together. So we're just going to start stepping down every other week on what needs to be done at that time. For us in the Midwest, now you guys up north, it could be a little early. Guys down in the south could be a little late. We're kind of focusing on the Midwest, and hopefully it's still good enough that you can learn off of it. The end of June, we're looking at proper soil preparation. You know, that is probably the biggest issue we have, besides people not checking the pH of their soil, is the proper preparation. So I can't wait for that one. I'll throw some of that in too on the springtime planning one up ahead, a few months before that, because that can kill the plot just as quick. I mean, you really want to prep that soil the proper way, and in doing so, you can actually help weed out them weeds and grasses with the proper soil preparation. July, choosing the right annual mix. We got to really push this one. And when I say that, I'm talking to my pro staff guys. When we really talk about the annuals, you know, at this seminar I was just at, so many people only had a little logging road, a little 20-foot by 20-foot area they could plant, or 20-yard by 20-yard, even maybe an 1/8 acre. There wasn't a whole lot of them that had big areas. So you don't want to go out there and just throw some turnips down or throw some radishes down in a little tiny spot as big as this room, because the deer will wipe them out in a night. So you really want to look at them annuals, as in like your cereal grains, stuff like that, that will actually continue growing as the deer eat them. So until that big heavy frost comes in. So that's something we'll really talk about. The end of July, we're going to talk about early planting annuals. Annuals need to be, most of your annuals, especially your bulb plants, you never want them to mature out prior to a frost. So in that, depending on where you're at, like me here, August 1st through the 15th of August is my prime time. I want to get them annuals in. I plant them any earlier. A lot of times they can mature out, get too stemmy, too starchy. They won't turn as sweet as they should, even though the soil's perfect, or close to perfect, and never be perfect. But now you get up north where I was just at. You get up in the Wisconsin area, northern Illinois, Wisconsin. You know, you can get them in a couple weeks earlier. You know, that third to fourth week of July, you can get them in earlier and get a lot better growth out of them, and they still won't be matured out before they get their heavy frost. So that's where the early planting annuals is coming in at the end of July. August, insecticides. You know, I don't know for a lot of you, but here lately we've been having a lot of trouble with insects over the last few years, especially with this drought that we always seem to have. So really get into the insecticides. I will throw some of that in too, actually, with the springtime perennials, what you can do there for your clovers on insecticides, which will be running there in March. So I have some of that in there too. But it seems I have more issue with them unless it's an armyworm or something like that. I have more issue with the beetles and grasshoppers, stuff like that on my annuals. Late August, you're looking at late planting annuals, what you can plant late in the year. You know, fall, winter, spring with the cereal grain, the cereal rye in it, your lights out, southern greens. Number 3 right there that, man, you can plant late. And if you're looking more for a draw and not actually the tonnage of food, red zone works very well. You won't get much tonnage out of it, but you'll have every deer in front of you early season just because it's the only green thing left. So it's but my favorite is lights out is actually my favorite fall, winter, spring, and southern greens. They were my three favorite ones right there. And right now I'm actually pushing more towards southern greens. That southern greens has really over the last 3 years made a believer out of me. And the three of them, four of them, five of them. In 2 years, $5 came off of Southern Greens. So six, sorry, Stacy's other buck came off Southern Greens, and they're hammering it. I can't plant enough of it. I've actually taken away some of my honey hole and my slam dunk area, and I went with Southern Greens. I still can't plant enough of it. So let's see here. September, maintaining your annuals. Not a lot to do with your annuals except for some grass control. You want to stay away from that, the weed herbicides, but there is things that you can look at as in, number one, your grass control. Number two, pray to God, Mother Nature. I can't help you with Mother Nature. I wish I could. I'd be a millionaire. But Mother Nature is going to be a live or kill it type deal, just like it was this year. But the fertilization part, when it actually says maintaining your annuals, it doesn't mean you have to fertilize it when you plant it and never fertilize it again. Maintain them. You can, if you got the moisture, they love nitrogen. Get the nitrogen on them. If you're not getting the moisture that you really want, the Jolt fertilizer right here is a lifesaver. Same way with the clover on the clover fuel. You can't beat them. So that's a big maintenance there, and maintaining them annuals is food and grass control. The weed control, there's not much we can do about it. The last one in September and the last show is going to be building a bigger herd. That is where all the feed products, the blocks, attractants, all that's going to be talked about. The kitchen sink is going to be a big one. We have been using this kitchen sink all this year. I was very fortunate that I have a pro staffer in Indiana that I can go over and use it on his property as soon as season got over with. We used it a lot early before season started in the hot summer months, and it blew me away what these deer were doing. This kitchen sink, everything but the kitchen sink, it's foolproof. I mean, it's going to be the bomb when it comes to feeding deer, and it's not going to kill your billfold. The retail is going to be a lot cheaper than Rack Maker, deer and elk pellets, cotton candy. It might be right around there with cotton candy, except it's going to be a 40-pound bag and cotton candy is only 25. But it's going to be a game changer. And again, the stuff we're working on with it is just going to get better and better as this year goes by, and see what we get figured out, if we're going to do something for the fall or just wait for a spring bring out on a new product with the kitchen sink. But again, I like that one there as in building a bigger herd, just because a lot of people don't understand the difference in protein and energy. And don't get me wrong, I didn't either for many years. I thought deer needed all the protein they could get. And that's the last thing they need in the winter months. They need protein. They don't need a lot. So, like you've heard me beating your head many, many times for the ones that are always watching on here, a deer can only utilize 16% protein without burning fat off its body. So if you're feeding them a 20% protein, you're actually burning fat off the deer's body in the winter while he's trying to fatten back up to get to 100% before the spring comes. So you really want to push them energy products to them. So, but no, that's going to be the fun stuff to talk about come this year. I mean, I'm looking forward to starting next Tuesday on it and get it rolling. And again, the new products, we covered a lot about it. We cover some more about it. Do more of a Q&A for our first one, along with the new product stuff. And because I know there's a lot of people got questions out there right now, because my phone and email is blowing up since probably a week before Christmas. people already were going crazy over spring planting. I mean, spring planting and barricade. That's all I hear right now. So I can't wait to get that one going next week. I like to start it right now, but we're not going to do that. We'll just wait till next week. But with this kitchen sink, what we're looking at, if for the ones that you don't know, this actually has 11 different ingredients in it. It actually has oats, wheat, corn. It's got barley, peanuts, Milo. It's got black oil sunflower seeds, roasted soybeans, shredded sugar beets, the protein pellets, and cottonseed. It also has our AMP in it for the digestive system. So the deer can really help the deer digest that. So you're getting a product that's very inexpensive compared to what we have offered in the past and still offered. I guess you want to say more of a premium. A lot of people ask me, well, how can this be such a premium mix and it's cheaper? Well, if you look at a product like Rackmaker that has a few ingredients and they're the good stuff, I mean, the real good stuff. It's also in the kitchen sink too, but in a smaller amount. With having to take a lot of the good stuff away and add more cheaper good stuff to really make it come right back in with it and be a very good high protein, high energy type food, that's why it's a little more inexpensive. You start taking away some of the corn and beans and roasted soybeans and start adding the Milo, the peanuts, the shredded sugar beets, stuff like that. You're bringing them energy and protein levels right back in, but actually at a cheaper price. So that's why I'm saying it's an inexpensive, but still a good premium mix. So, but no, it's going to be a very good one. Actually, we got Don Kiske. He's testing it right now. He sent me a video earlier today and one last night. It's unbelievable. I can't wait to see the bucks he gets on this stuff. He still has some bucks holding antlers, so we're crossing our fingers to see what we can get on there. It's going to be a good one. We have them videos up and running on our Facebook page before too long. They're doing some editing on them and getting them going, but it's working out very, very well. So this product actually won't be ready till about March, just because of bagging. We came out with a fancier bag that kind of set us back a little bit. The side of the bag is actually the side and the front and the back. It's all clear open, so you can see everything that's in that. The only thing orange is actually the front and the on the bag and the black on top. The rest of it is see-through, so you can see everything that's in it. You can see what you're actually buying, and seeing there's not a lot of junk stuff in there. So none at all. But no, it's going to be a real good one. And like I said, the deer over in Indiana completely destroyed it. And I know they are in other places too that we've had it tested all over. And right now, all of our TV shows that we sponsor, all of them have the product in hand. They're going to be doing some testing in all their states. The ones that are allowed, it's going to be a good one, guys. I'm looking very forward to see what all comes out here and how this product goes. When we were at the ATA show, it went crazy. Everybody just blew up on it. So I wish it was ready now, but we got about a month to wait before it can actually hit the stores. So, but I guess late's better than never. So, well, while I'm gabbing here, let's see what we got here. I see a whole bunch of stuff going across the screen, and I don't know where everybody's at here. I just keep talking. I won't get nothing done. Robert, good to see you on here. City boy from Virginia. Thanks for the help and advice. Hey, I appreciate it. I'll help you on that clover plot anytime I can, man. I love my clover. Coleman, Mark, I don't know if you want me teaching you my way. I'll tell you right now. I guess it depends on what I'm teaching you, but I guess. You know, I'm 50 years old and I'm finally getting married. So that tells you a lot right there. Maybe I know more about food plots than I do about relationships. So I'll just stop on my head. Randy, what's a good follow-up plot after clover? If you're looking for a rotation bud, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm saying you're probably Midwest. I'm not for sure. But you're looking rotation wise on clover. I like rotating with, the Southern greens, or honey hole or slam dunk, any of the brassica type varieties. I like running them for about 2 years and then rotating it over to a clover and let that clover suck that nitrogen in, build that soil, and then you can rotate them again after a couple of years. So I really like them 3 mixes there. So your turnips, your radishes, your collard greens, stuff like that will work out very well. Oh, Cody Jarrett, you got you a good one here. Lindsay said the kitchen sink. It's the only time you touch the kitchen sink is using our kitchen sink. I like that, Lindsay. That's good. And I can believe it. I can believe it 100%. Mark Coleman, last year we talked about an Antler King app for your phone. Is that in the works? Buddy, there's so much in the works right now. App-wise, not so much right now. We got our hands in a couple other fires. No, I shouldn't say fires. If I say fires, I mean good fires. A couple other things that could be fire. That is going to kind of take notice and stand out. But a lot of these things take time. That I kind of found out this last year on a few things I thought would be an easy thing, and there's a lot to it. But working with the marketing group now a lot, I'm starting to, Ryan over there at Rubline, he's really teaching me a lot. So I'm getting to know that a lot more, a lot better. And definitely thank him and Adam and all them guys for their help over there. Mark, Southern Greens is your favorite? Yeah. Worked great in your Park County farm in Indiana. I can't say enough good about it. I know I had my hand in developing it, but I didn't realize it was going to work out as good as it did. Literally developed this for the southern states until I planted it in my farm, and then Todd planted it in his farm in Wisconsin, and then Iowa, and it's about like our cotton candy feed. We made that for the southern states, and next thing you know, the deer up north like it just as much as they do it in the southern states. So, which I'm glad, but I never thought I'd ever see the day that a seed mix would take away from my honey hole and slam dunk plot. Never thought I'd ever see that. Last 2 years in a row, I've cut that honey hole and slam dunk back a little bit and planted more southern greens. That means a lot right there. For me to do that, there's no BS there. It's a very good mix. Scuba, we all need Mother Nature on our side. I don't know what we're doing to tick her off, but we're doing something. See what else we got here. You guys are rolling in here with these things. Jason, good to see you on here, bud. Scott, that's the thing. Like you said, I've learned a lot over the last year or so, but you can never stop learning. That's why I'm here. You're exactly right. The day I quit learning or quit having fun is the day I'll quit. You know, I tell it with everybody with hunting. My fiance that's upstairs right now, you know, she's seen me this year multiple times get shook in a blind or a tree stand. And she's like, why are you shaking? I said, because I love it so much. The day that I quit shaking is a day that I will sell all my hunting gear. That's just how I am. I'm the same way with food plots. I can't wait to get out there and work ground. I can't wait. My favorite thing in the world is mowing clover. I mean, if I could mow with a push mower, I would, just to be able to spend more time in that plot. I enjoy it so much. When that enjoyment goes away, I'll walk away from it. So I think that's why it helps me so much helping people, because I enjoy this more than any of it. I enjoy helping people because I know what it's like not to know. And when I started out, there was no such thing as internet. There was no such thing as Google. You know, some ways I'm glad it is. I'm glad it was that way, because there's a lot of false information on there. And there's a lot of good information. Don't get me wrong. but and a lot of arguments and everything else. But it's just where I want to help people and give them my advice. I learned 90% of what I know, let's say 60% of what I know, by trial and error. And then when I got in with the Antler King family and worked side by side with Todd Siddleberg and stuff like that, that's when the science part of it came in. And then it's like, wow, I know why this stuff works now. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know, about testing different fertilizers on plants. I didn't know about, what you can do to raise or lower your pH. I didn't know any of that type of stuff. I didn't realize the pH is the main reason your turnips turn sweet. The soil plays a big key in that. I did not know that. I just thought of the fertilizer, make them grow, and they turn sweet. It's not. You got to get that soil close to a 7.0, a neutral pH, to get the full sweetness out of them plants. I didn't know that. I do now, and I have for many years, but that's the stuff I love learning. So when I can learn it and I can pass it on, that's what I'm doing. Jason, you'll love it in Ohio. Rick Stillman, I appreciate it, bud. Man, I hate to go down on a thing, but I heard you and I just lost a dear friend, and I hate that. So, but I'm glad to see you on here, bud. Alex, use it in Minnesota. They will love it in Minnesota. Scott, do you prefer one of your products over the other in rocky soil? Actually, I do. And it's going to depend on how rocky. I mean, if it's a granite floor and there's a little bit of dirt on it, that's one thing. But if it's this rockier soil that you're actually going out there picking the rocks up, stuff like that, your perennials are going to do good. The slam dunk's going to be good. Anything with a tubular radish is going to do good. Just like in the sandier soil, them tubular radishes really like growing through stuff like that. As the guys from Ray's Hunting found out a couple of years ago, when they actually dumped the bag out back to their truck, they had a tubular radish in their driveway at the shop that big. But the slam dunk works very well. The southern greens would actually do very well there too, with all what's in it. So I'd stay away from like the red zone, the peas, stuff like that. I'd stay away from that, but no, it'd do very good. Tyler, good to see you on here. Yeah, you say we love the Graniac block. I tell you what, guys, that Graniac block is unbelievable. It is. I know this sounds biased, but it's too good. It's so good that it could get in your billfold in a hurry, as people tell me every day that call me. That's something that we knew that block was going to be good, but we didn't know how good. We found out in a hurry, and then our sales found out in a hurry. All the way up, I don't think it's a secret anymore, but the only way we can keep up production with that block is to build another block plant, put another press in for the Graniac block alone, and the ground's already been broke on that. So we just, with all the other blocks we make, we can't make them fast enough. And so Graniac's going to have its own facility that's how good that block is. And I'm not saying that in the sales. I'm saying that, yes, it is good for sales. Don't get me wrong. But if the block wasn't good, the sales wouldn't be there. That block's a good one. I wish we could make it in a tub, but that's kind of complicated. I pushed it, and I'm still going to push it to the boss man. But it's kind of complicated. I want that block in a tub, and a cattle tub is what I want. And hopefully one day we'll see that. Scott, you just turned 50 and you've been married for 30 years. But I actually envy you on that. Actually, there's nothing to feel sorry about there. If I'd have found the right one when I was that age, I'd have been married 30 years too. But I found her now. She's upstairs. Hopefully she's listening to this so I can get some brownie points. I hope. So we just went and picked up a brand new camper tonight. So I'm hoping that's going to help out too, except we got quite a few months before we can go camping. but we'll see. What will the price point be on the kitchen sink? Our dear loving the rack maker. Give me 1 second. I will tell you exactly what the retail on that is. We're on here just having fun, so we can still do this. There we go. Oh, there we go. That kitchen sink, you're looking at, I feel like a salesman now. Depending on where you're going to be at, you're looking at a $19.99 to a $21 retail, depending on where you're at. So I'd say you're going to be running more like a $19.99. Some stores will have it cheaper just because who they are, but that's about what it's going to run. So it's going to be a little cheaper than what the rack maker is. And that's a product too that we are going to offer in bulk, that you guys can get a hold of me and we can sell it in the bulk. Help you guys save some money. Oh, Brandon on here. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Buddy, I'm here to help you in any way I can, man. I'll help you out anyway. And I appreciate you congratulating me on that engagement. It means a lot, man. Rob, when frost seeding clover, is it best to use a perennial straight mix or an annual perennial seed mix? I personally, if I'm frost seeding clover, as in to establish a new plot, I will actually throw some annual in with it, just because that annual has a shorter root system. It's going to emerge out of the soil quicker, help with some of that weed and grass issues, while that perennial's growing that real long root system. But now if I am just going in and thickening up a established plot that needs some seed, I'm sticking with straight perennial. But on a new plot, to establish a brand new one, I love throwing some crimson in there just to get some coming up quicker, because you're looking about, it could be 2 to almost 3 week difference when that perennial and that annual will come up. That annual is always going to come up 2 to 3 weeks earlier, because that perennial is growing such a long root system. It actually is, it will not emerge out of the soil until that root system develops. So them crimsons will come up, help kind of take over some of the grass and weed issues that could hurry up and pop up, since they will actually, a lot of times they'll be popped up and germinating quicker, because they can grow in a colder soil temp than what you need, that 50 to 55 degree for the clover, but it will still help smother some of that out. Mark Lubick, good to see you on here, bud. Been good talking to you on all these messages, man. I appreciate it. All right, let's see here. Well, I have a show in Missouri this year. I am not in Missouri. Well, yeah, we're doing one in Kansas. We're doing close. We're going to be close to you. The Kansas show, depending on where you're at, I guess. I shouldn't say it's going to be close to you. I don't know where you're at. But we're doing one in Kansas, Kansas City. And then let's see here. I got Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas City, Wisconsin, and Alabama. So that's where I'm at this year. We're not doing the Ohio show. I kind of stepped away from that show and put the money towards the World Show down in Birmingham in the summer, to kind of help with get some feed products and stuff down in that area, do something a little different, get some new territory down there, and it seems like it's going to work out pretty well. If I'm missing anything here, guys, let me know. I'm just kind of rolling through here. Robert's asking, he sees a lot of comments. It looks like Doug's already talked to him here. Frost seeding. What exactly is frost seeding? Frost seeding is the best way to establish or thicken up a food plot. But you're talking to a diehard clover guy here that will tell you, because of the people that call me and talk to me and worry to death because they're going to be too late frost seeding, like it's the end of the world. You got frost seeding where you're trying to find that last frost of the year that you're freezing at night, cooling or warming up during the day and thawing out, freeze at night, thaw out during the day. That's what you're looking for. That will literally suck that seed right into the soil. It'll lay there dormant until the ground temps get up and to that 50, 55 degree, and then they start their germination process. But if you miss that window, it's not over, because you go into right over what I like doing. I like actually overseeding. And when I mean overseeding or planting a plot the same way, usually when that you got that soft soil when that frost is coming out of the ground, you're still going to have some suction there, but your rains are starting to come in. So you're going to have the rains that help you set that seed. And at frost seeding, a lot of people they think they need the frost seed every year. I see all these companies all the time beating everybody, frost seed, frost seed, frost seed, frost seed. You got to frost seed your clover. That's the biggest sales pitch I ever heard. You do not have to always frost seed your clover every year. Here I am, a guy that we sell all this stuff here, and I'm telling you, you don't have to buy it every year. That's who I am. That's what I'm telling you. You can overseed a clover plot by frost seeding clover, just like you can when you first plant it. You never want to overseed a food plot with too much seed. A lot of guys that go look, and it's very easy to do, look at a food plot right now that's dead and go, I need to seed a bunch of seed on here. It needs to thicken up. If you would wait till that spring green up comes in and you start seeing that clover come back to life, I guarantee you it's 100 times thicker than what you think it is. And if you thicken it up even more, you're going to starve them plants for nutrition and kill them. So that's why I like overseeding. I will always wait till my spring green up comes in. I start seeing how the plot's thickening up. And if I see a little bare spot here or there, I'll walk in by hand, shift some out, and walk away from it. I'll never overseed the whole plot. But when it comes to putting it in a new plot, it's a great way to do it. So to establish a plot, yes. To overseed into an existing plot, not knowing if it needs it or not, could hurt you instead of help you. So that's kind of my take on frost seeding. It's something that works very well if it's needed. So I try to look at it as when I'm sitting in a tree stand in the fall or in a blind, wherever I'm at, over a clover plot, you get into the frost is already hit. And you start looking at that plot and you know it's not going to grow no more. And you're going to say, man, that plot is still nice and thick. The deer still got some forage. That's a tattletale sign to me that that plot's going to be fine next year. Now, if you're seeing that and you're like, man, that's bare all over here, it's bare all over here, the deer just tore it up, you can kind of see it that way. Yeah, I need to freshen them spots up a little bit. But that clover, until you get into that, let's say your 5th, 6th years, like on our trophy clover, each year that clover is going to be better and better and better. You get in that about 5th year, that's when it's going to start diminishing a little bit, and that's a good time. I frost seed my one clover plot. What is it? It's going to be 21 years old this year. I frost seed every 3 years if needed. And the only reason I do that, if it needs it, is I want the new growth coming in as the old growth is going out. But not every 3 years do I do it, because I know it's still thick enough. I might have to wait to that 4th year, and just I play it by watching it and see what I got there. But usually every 3 years, if the plot ain't too thick, you can do it like that. But keep an eye on that plot and make sure. Jason, what do you mean by buying bulk? You can buy, like our feed products, cotton candy, rack maker, deer nut pellets, stuff like that. You can actually buy it by the pallet, by the ton. So that's what I mean by bulk. They're not bulk bags or nothing like that. They're just, rack maker. There's 50 of them on a pallet. Deer nut pellets, there's 40 bags, stuff like that. So that's what I mean by buying in bulk. The old PA boys are on here. But that's Hunter on here watching. Scott, I appreciate you being on here, man. I'll be here to help you any way I can. Let's see, Kyle's on here. What do you got here, Kyle? What would you suggest planting in the spring? Half-acre plot in southern Ohio. If you're in a sunny area, your pH is good, you got good soil, I'm going with trophy clover. And by far, I'm going straight with it. Our Booner Buffet works very well, but I'm more a clover guy than I am an alfalfa guy. So I'm always going with trophy clover there. It's going to give you the highest protein, the most tonnage. You just can't beat it. So especially for a spring planting. Robert, I appreciate you being on here, bud. Good to see you on here, Hunter. I appreciate that, bud. All right, did I miss anybody here? I don't know if I did or not, jumping around here. Stuff's flying through. I'm willing to talk. We've already been on here 45 minutes. Give me another 15. I wasn't going to do an hour show, but I definitely will for you guys. You got some more you want to talk about, let me know. Because I like to talk. Yeah, Scott. If I was going with the rock, the slightly rocky soil, that game changer clover right there, that is designed just for that area that you're talking about. Works out great. 4 different varieties of clover. It's going to have 3 perennials, 1 annual clover in it. That, again, just like I was talking about the clovers earlier, that annual is really going to help jump up, kind of help with some of that weed and grass control while the perennials are growing their root system. It does have 1 variety of a nurse crop in it, of a brassica in it, that will be there for the first year, but after that, it's going to be a straight clover plot, all perennial clover. Doug, I can't wait either. The Indy show is going to be good this year. This is going to be the kind of tattletale show here for me. I'm bringing out a new booth design, all complete different. And really, nobody's seen it except Stacy. I put it together in my basement, checked it all out. I'm looking forward to it. Again, going to do some more informational stuff on there, helping some customers out that way. So Indiana is going to be the one that's going to be the start of it. And then from there, head to Iowa. So kind of work the bugs out in Indy and head to Iowa to the big boy show and see what we got. Scott's asking, would that game changer clover work out good with doing winter wheat later in the year or winter rye? Which one do you suggest? It will, but it depends on how you're wanting to do it, bud. As in trying to actually seed it into it, you're going to lose a lot of germination on that rye that you're wanting to use. Unless you're wanting to tear it out and replant it. Now, if you're not, you can always strip it and put some strips of the winter rye, the cereal rye, whichever one you want to use, the winter wheat. Winter wheat works really well. I'm a big fan of cereal rye. I love cereal rye. It's a great grain-based plant. And the good thing about cereal rye is it will actually, even though it's an annual, it acts like a perennial for the first year. It will actually go dormant with the frost, and then it will come back to life after the ground temp gets up in the spring and stay green. It'll start growing for you for about 3 months and then dies off. So it gives them a lot of really, really high protein in that springtime when that bone growth and antler development starts. Absolutely, Mark. Yeah, the deer hammer in your fall, winter, spring. And Mark, that's what he's talking about there. The fall, winter, spring is our cereal rye blend. And it works very, very well. Scott's saying the area that he's absolutely nothing green by the end of October. I usually draw deer from every direction. Yeah. you can look at, you're going to have two different things there. Like if you use the Game Changer clover, you're using 3 different cool season perennials. So if you don't know the difference between a cool season and a warm season seed, the warm season clovers are what you're going to look at as when you get your frost on it, they're going to turn brown, they're going to lay over. Cool season, they're going to stay green all the way through the winter. 10 below zero, kick the snow off of them, they're green still below. That's the difference between cool season. We only use cool season seeds. So that Game Changer is going to do that for you. The cereal rye is going to do that for you. Winter wheat will do that for you. So all of them would be a very good choice, or a smorgasbord for them. But I would plant the winter wheat, whatever you want to plant there, cereal rye, whatever. I want to plant it separate, strip it around the edge, do something. Don't try seeding it right into the clover, because that clover is going to be thick enough. It's not going to get good seed to soil contact, and you're going to lose a lot of it. Aaron, how you doing here, bud? Northern New York. Been using honey hole for about 5 years and noticed the last couple of years that the turnips are not producing as much. I tried some grade 8 this past year as well, and it seemed good. Should I rotate the plots? With fall, winter, spring, or southern greens, I do 3-acre plots and a couple of half-acre plots. Aaron, I don't know if you're saying that you've used the honey hole for 5 years straight in the same plot, but if so, that's why you're having an issue. You never want to plant a bulb plant, any brassica bulb plant, over 3 years maximum. You'll start noticing, because of them plants will literally destroy the soil. They suck the nutrients dry. No matter how much fertilizer you put on that, you got to get that pH back up. Them plants are not going to come. And you have an issue. You can have an insecticide issue. You can have fungus issue. So you really want to build that soil back. So with your every 3 years, I do mine every 2 years. I only run my brassicas every 2 years, and then I rotate them with clover. But yes, you can rotate them with cereal rye, because cereal rye will actually, like clover, sucks in the nitrogen from the atmosphere and stores it in, where cereal rye actually pulls the nitrogen down deep in the soil and pulls it up. Real low root system. So you're actually building the soil and feeding the deer at the same time. But usually a tattletale sign that you're planting a brassica too long, your turnips will get smaller, the deer won't hit them as much, they don't turn as sweet, and that's just because they destroyed the soil over them year after year after year. So not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm just saying that could cause that. But yes, the southern greens will do okay, but I would go more with the fall, winter, spring than I would the southern greens as a soil builder and to help get that soil going back out. You could also, you could run some clover in with that fall, winter, spring, and give you the best of both worlds. Rick, yes, I'll be at the Illinois show, bud. Yep, I'll have the big booth set up there and have product with me. Yeah, that is March 8th through the 10th. Timmy Lambert, good to see you on here, bud. No big shed finder. I'm working my butt off, and you're sending me pictures of sheds. I see how you are. I see. Scott, that's funny. I've been called a lot worse than that. I'm telling you right now. But no, that is funny. Mark Coleman, how best to keep track of what plots you have planted with what? Do you use a calendar, or do you take a photo looking at the best? I do a journal on all my plots, Mark. So I make a journal out on when I plant, what I plant, the amount of fertilizer I use, what the soil pH was. I do that every year. You don't have to get that in depth. It's good to do all them things. Make sure all it's done. You don't have to write on paper, but make sure it's done. That's how I keep track on mine. But really, it just gets beat up here. I know what I planted there 3 years ago. I can sit here and tell you what the buck was eating on when I shot him 10 years ago. You go up to my room and pick one of the 30 deer that's sitting up there. I can tell you what he shot on. It's just something that I love. It's a sickness that I got. But no, I have a journal that I write in, and it's actually, I can't remember the ones, what they call them. I get mine at Farm and Fleet. They're a waterproof journal. Farmers use them, and they got a marker that comes with them, and they're waterproof. They get wet, they won't smear off. And just a little fold out journal. So that's how I do mine. Strip of brassicas brought the black bears throughout May, June last of the year. We had that to the property until late November. I bet you did. I can guarantee you had black bears in there. Chris Ashley, good to see you on here, bud. Try to split his plots in half, cereal grains on one side with clover. Absolutely, bud. That's a great way to rotate there too. When you got a plot big enough where you can do a 50 here and a 50 there, you can rotate really easy there and always have the same stuff. Come on over, Scott. Get over there to the show. We'll be there. Rob Eckerman, I don't know. I can't pronounce that town in Indiana that you're talking about, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But I've never heard of that show. I didn't know there was a show going on over there in that area. I don't know where that's at though. Timmy, I'm going to tell you, yes, it's too early to frost seed right now. You could do it, but we got plenty of time to do it, bud. We got more cold weather coming in. We're gonna lay low for a little bit, and we'll get her done for you. But yeah, let's wait a little bit and see what this next cold spell comes in. See what it looks like more towards the end of February, and then we'll hit her, bud. All right, guys, we got about 3.5 minutes here, and they're going to shut me down. So what else you got for me? I don't know if I missed anything or not. If I did, I apologize. Go back up here and look. No, it's gonna be a good year. Something tells me we're gonna get rain this year, and it's gonna be awesome. But I told myself that last 2 years in a row, we had 3-month drought. So I'm just gonna keep telling myself that. I hope you guys get the rain. I hope I get it this year. I have never had plots look the way they do. In my 30 years, I've never had plots look as bad as they did this year. But we didn't have no rain. They still produced, just didn't produce the tonnage that they normally do, and it shows right now. With the weather we have had and the bad weather, that the tonnage just wasn't there. They're holding up, but they're going to be gone earlier before I want them to. So, but we can't do nothing about Mother Nature. She can be cruel. Anytime, Timmy. Jason, good to see you on here, bud. Well, guys, it's 8:59. We're going to have to jump off here. And Rob, thanks for that. Midwest Sportsman's Classic. I'll look that up. I've never heard of that one. But I appreciate everything. We'll be on here, like I say, Tuesday. I'll throw it back on there, but we're going to be talking about some more new product stuff and just some more Q&A stuff and get it going. And then the end of February, that's when we'll really start doing everything. I mean, bi-weekly, we start putting everything together all the way up to the spring planting, what to do between there and the fall plantings, and then on from there. So you guys have a good night. We'll get off here, and you guys take care. Bye.